After an average game week in Game Week 22, if you want to join me for the final game and scout Heung-min Son for Game Week 23 captaincy, make sure to check out the FPL Wildcats, top link in the description down below. Hello there, and selfless plug out the way for the FPL Wildcats. What is up, guys? Hope you're having a great Thursday, and welcome to the FPL Today Team Selection video for Game Week 23. In this video, we go over how I did in Game Week 22 and my plans for Game Week 23, including potential transfers, all with the idea of helping you guys with your FPL decisions. So if you enjoy the content on this series, please do hit that subscribe button, that like and that notification bell. Unfortunately, the last video didn't do well, but that's to be expected with such a quick turnaround in game weeks. But if you want to support the channel, those things help out massively, and let's get on with the video. So we start off with how I did in Game Week 22, and we start off with the plus points, the things that are positive to talk about, because we're going to get a bit angry later on down the road when we talk about my captaincy. We start off though with some big scores from Bruno Fernandes, who of course had my vice captaincy armband on, and I was praying that my captain wouldn't start tonight, but unfortunately that wasn't to be the case. We also had Ilkay Gundogan getting 8 points to add on to Fernandes' 17. If I could have read the future and realised that Southampton would have had 2 players sent off, maybe my captaincy would have been different, but I'm not going to lie, Fernandes was never really in my consideration for captain, so I can't be too angry about not putting it on him. Then tonight we also had Antonio and Calvert-Lewin also add significant points to the pot, as Antonio got 2 assists against Aston Villa and Calvert-Lewin got a goal against Leeds. So happy with these 4, especially with Calvert-Lewin, because I was very disappointed with the transfer in of Calvert-Lewin for Game Week 21, but he's returned for me in Game Week 22, and I'll be interested to see match of the day to see how Calvert-Lewin did in that match. Maybe he is here to stay a little bit longer than I thought. Also, speaking of Antonio, Jesse Lingard, 2 goals. If anyone brought him in as a punt, congratulations to you, but Lingard looks like he could be an exciting prospect, but it's early days yet, so let's not get too excited. We then look at the other players to return points, and we brought in Callum Wilson. Yes, and unfortunately it's the game week after he got 2 goals, but he still managed to pop up with an assist in this one, getting me 5 points, despite Newcastle losing in their fixture. And then we finally have double Man City defence, and we finally got the benefits of it, getting 2 clean sheets from Stones and Cancelo. But again, by now everyone's got them, so it didn't really help my rank this game week, the fact that they got clean sheets or not. And then we move on to the disappointing aspects of this team, and unfortunately my captaincy armband was on Mohamed Salah, whereas last week it was on Bruno Fernandes, and Salah was the one to score the point. So we've managed to do the merry-go-round of captains the wrong way round, and managed to lose out on quite a significant amount of points. And if Salah had done anything this game week, we would have seen a pretty significant game week score that could have seen me rise in rank better than the rank rise that I had. Very disappointed, to be honest, in that Liverpool game. They just couldn't break down that Brighton Hove Albion defence, who, before recently, always made a mistake or two which teams capitalised on. But this time, they were very solid at the back, and it didn't really look like Salah or Robertson was going to get any attacking returns. And then, of course, there was Alzate's goal, which, while I can't really blame the keeper or the defence, is just one of those unfortunate things. And to pay this much for Robertson and not get the clean sheets, very disappointing indeed. And then Martinez, to be honest, I knew this game was going to have goals in, but I don't have a playing substitute goalkeeper, so not too disappointed Martinez didn't keep a clean sheet, but wasn't expecting West Ham to necessarily put 3 past them. But we got the points from Antonio from that fixture, and Grealish did manage to help Watkins score a goal, so the bench didn't look too bad compared to some nightmare benches that I have seen on Twitter. We had Steer with 0, Cresswell with 1, and Anguissa with 1. Meanwhile, Taylor with 2, and to be honest, they didn't outperform anyone that I actually played, so can't really complain about my bench compared to those on Twitter. So that sees my game week score total at 75 points, while the average is 52. Of course, there is Chelsea Spurs still to play, and of course Son is probably quite a highly owned player still, so Son could significantly impact this. Overall, we now have 1,321 points, which saw about a 20k rise in rank to just above 350k. This, of course, is all from livefpl.net, so it might be slightly out, as the Fantasy Premier League website hasn't updated yet. But if you want a good idea of your live rank, check out livefpl.net, links in the description. So the player at risk, and to be honest, You could probably add Robertson to this right now, and maybe even Salah after that Liverpool game, but cooler heads shall prevail, hopefully, and I'll think about it before I go into that. But right now, Taylor has been sitting on my bench with this injury and not playing for Burnley. And even though it's Brighton Hove Albion next, unless I hear something to suggest he's starting by Sean Dyche, I think I need to focus on this issue in my squad and make sure I have a playing defender, just in case. You never know what's going to happen with the way this season has been going. We also need to look for another budget option with points potential, and I think there are some out there that aren't too much more expensive than Taylor that have been significantly good options this season. And of course, just to add to that, Taylor's been out for a whole 3 game weeks and I've not fixed this issue yet. So moving on to Game Week 23, yes, there is no Fantasy Football Hub plug. Link is in the description, of course, but we did the plug with the Wildcats, so make sure to check that out first. However, Game Week 23, we start off with the goalkeepers and defence, and we've got a bit of a pickle with the goalkeepers and defence because we have Martinez against Arsenal at home. Again, Arsenal have looked good, and I think if they hadn't have had those sending-offs in their game, they might have done better against Wolves than they did. However, Martinez is the type of goalkeeper that can pull out a clean sheet when you really need it, as well as some save points, so Martinez isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Cresswell with Fulham away, very hopeful of a clean sheet in this one and hopefully an attacking return, because we do of course have Robertson and Cancelo as well as Stones in our side, and that's going to be a tough fixture to call. I think Liverpool will do much better against a Man City side that won't be so solid defensively with so many men behind the ball, because of course Man City are going to play their way. This could be a high scoring game, it could be a stalemate, we'll wait and see, but Cancelo and Robertson have both shown potential for attacking returns this season, maybe one more than the other recently, so that's why these two are in and Stones is on the bench, although of course Stones did have those game weeks where he scored significant points as well. However, he's first on the bench, so if something crazy does happen, he will come in, hopefully, with those points if he does get anything. Then moving on to midfield, we have Gundogan and Salah, both with the same fixture as well. Salah with the vice-captaincy armband, although depending on the transfers I make, that might not be the case going into Game Week 23. We're definitely looking at Son tomorrow on the Wildcat stream, and we might even make the decision that night whether Son is coming in or not. So tune in to find out about that. However, we do have Bruno Fernandes with the captaincy armband now, so of course he's probably not going to return in Game Week 23, but it is Everton at home, and I think United, despite the fact that they had things go in their favour against Southampton, did look good in that fixture, and hopefully Fernandes can get another haul like he did. Although I think for those without Son, Fernandes will be a highly owned captain, so whether it really helps my game week rank is yet to be seen. Then we have Grealish, the same fixture as Martinez against Arsenal at home. I fancy Aston Villa to get a goal or two against anyone right now, but I'm a bit concerned about that fixture compared to some other fixtures that they've had recently. But once Grealish has passed his tight run, hopefully things can improve and he can start getting some double-digit hauls. And then up front we have Antonio, Calvert-Lewin and Wilson. Antonio with Fulham away, hopeful for some points in this one. Antonio, if you could get 2 goals instead of 2 assists, that would be greatly appreciated. Calvert-Lewin with Man United away. Not too happy about this fixture for Calvert-Lewin, but he remains in the side just in case he can make something happen against that Man United defence. And Callum Wilson with Southampton at home. Bit worried that Southampton are going to galvanise after their recent 9-0 defeat, like they did against Leicester the season before. However, they have so many injuries that I think that team's very disjointed, so hopefully Wilson can get something in this one. And then on the bench, we do have Stones as the first sub, so if anything does happen to any of my starters, it's not like that's the worst player to come in, and Man City have been great defensively recently. And Guisa with West Ham at home as my second sub, and Taylor, a likely transfer out, as my third sub currently. So we move on to the potential transfers to end this video, and the first transfer in is Luke Shaw, who is starting to put up numbers similar to when I started ranting and raving about how we should get Cancelo into our sides. Which probably means I won't get Luke Shaw in for another 4 or 5 game weeks, and he scored a significant amount of points before I brought him in. But right now, he's the most likely player to come in for Taylor at 4.9 million. It's not too much of a jump up in price, and he's managed to get some great creative stats to go with his 2 assists. He's managed to get 19 key passes with 5 big chances created, expected assists at 2.67. Of course, that Southampton game has boosted those numbers significantly, but Luke Shaw has looked impressive. Only issue is, of course, rotation, with Telles also being in that squad. We then have the other side where I don't think rotation is as big an issue, and that's Aaron Wan-Bissaka but with that less rotation issues is that more significant price. 5.4 million, however, he has got a goal and 2 assists, and he has got expected goals at 0.53, which is significantly higher than Shaw, but expected assists at 1.17, which is lower, with only 9 key passes and 2 big chances created. We then move on to Kufal with Fulham away. Now, I've already got 2 West Ham players in my side, so this one is more for you guys than it is for me, but at 4.7 million, looking at a player that has 1 assist, 3 shots on goal, 2 from inside the box, 5 key passes, and 3 big chances created, with expected assists at 1.32, so he's definitely no slouch, but I think for now, unless I suddenly am really happy with my side, Cresswell is the West Ham defender for me. And then finally we have Luca Digne, who has 6.1 million, managed 2 shots on goal, 1 from inside the box, and expected goals at 0.06, but has had 2 assists with 6 key passes created in the last 6, 1 big chance, and expected assists at 0.63. However, with that more significant price at 6.1 million, I do prefer the other 3 options in comparison. Also, shout out to James Justin and those of you that still have him, as of course he managed to get a goal today and looks like a great option as well. And if you've got him, you might as well keep hold of him because it looks like he's played his way into that side. And of course, I transferred him out with the fear of Ricardo Pereira taking his place a long time ago. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. So if you have enjoyed this video, please do consider hitting that like button, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell for FPL. And also consider checking me out on the FPL Wildcats Live while we watch along the Chelsea Spurs game, and I scout Heung-min Son as my potential captain for Gameweek 23. That again is the top link in the description. With all that being said, I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.